Stephanie Ruhle gave a commentary tonight on her show that is beer repeating on the 11th hour. And this commentary shouldn't really stand alone. But let me start this way. Donald Trump came into office with an economy that was described by The Economist, the Wall Street Journal, and many others as the envy of the world. Donald Trump consistently spoke about, Biden destroyed the economy, all that kind of stuff. It was all a lie. It has always been a lie. Donald Trump handed Biden an economy in crisis. He mismanaged COVID. He exploded the deficit. He gave a tax cut to rich people, further making the income inequality and wealth disparity worse. That's what he did. He got an economy in great shape. And in less than 3 months, he has put the United States economy in turmoil. And it's not a partisan thing. Because if it were a partisan thing, as he threw up these tariffs and the stock market fell, if it was just a partisan thing and something that was 6 of one, half dozen of the other, the bond market would not start falling as well, because people leaving the stock market would be looking for security in money, the bonds. But they're dumping American dollars, they're dumping bonds just as much as they're dumping stocks, which means a complete crisis in confidence in the United States. That's what it means. This has never happened to this extent in our modern history. In other words, we have always been the bastion of economics because our economy just about runs the world. 4% of the people in the world pretty much had the lion's share of economic activity and economic the people who run the economic system, the nervous system of our world's economy. But all of that, Donald Trump destroyed in under 3 months. And the rest of the world's noticing it. And the thing about it is, how can you recover from that? How can you recover from that, right? We could have once said that it was an aberration that Donald Trump got elected the first time. Okay, we understood. Every country is due a mistake. But a consecutive mistake, again, that is enough to send other countries with long-term plans of eventually leaving as soon as they build their own life support system. But Donald Trump didn't only show that he could destroy an economy all by his lonesome, all by himself quickly. He also showed the defects within the Constitution. He showed the defects of what an electoral college is. He showed the defect of the executive controlling the Justice Department and how then a Justice Department, if the president so chooses, can decide not to enforce the law. It shows the flawed design of the Constitution in the judiciary. It exposed so much. And what it also says is that we must give kudos to every president that preceded Donald Trump, as well as Biden. Because none of these other presidents used the defects of the economic system, an economic system that one person could cause it to crash, and a constitution that is so fragile that a person as inept, someone many refer to as a moron, could cause so much damage. I want you to listen to what Stephanie Ruhle had to say here, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Here's what I want to say. It has been over a week since this trade disaster began, and I have spent that week speaking to investors here and abroad. And what I feel most tonight is scared. Scared that what we are facing is a crisis of confidence. Confidence in us the United States of America. And what I have not heard from any of the people that I speak to is exactly what might restore that confidence in the United States, at least not right now. Yes, the markets rallied yesterday, but that is only because we avoided the 50+% tariffs across the globe. But the reality has set in today because we still have the rest of these tariffs and the markets continue to sink, both the bond and stock market, in part because the basis by which we're negotiating trade is not rooted in truth. And for those who believe countries are scrambling to make a deal because they were so panicked about the enormous tariffs and now they're much lower, my question is, what is that deal? What do you think the likes of Vietnam can do to erase our trade deficit? You know what the answer is? They can't. And if you want to onshore all of our manufacturing, if you want to do that, what Peter Navarro talked about, what Howard Lutnick talked about, you want to do that? It'll take trillions of dollars and 20 years to reconfigure the global supply chain and bring it all home. And for our allies in the West, those developed countries, they are certainly not rushing to partner back up with us. Not with a U.S. president who goes on national TV laughing, saying they're all kissing my ass. It is safe to say that the perch we and our American exceptionalism sat on, even a few months ago, has certainly been lowered. We've got an agriculture secretary who tells us, build a chicken coop in your backyard because eggs are expensive. We have a defense secretary sharing military secrets in a group chat. We are potentially lawlessly firing thousands of federal workers and defunding science while we buy crypto. We have lost an enormous amount of credibility and trust. But what scares me is that every investor I speak to, even some who support this president, has given me the same message. If the bond market continues to drop and drop and drop, you know where it goes? It bankrupts the country. Something Donald Trump knows a lot about.
So yes, she has reason to be scared. The rest of the world has reason to be scared. Imagine an economic system that can be tanked by a flawed president, making, just simply saying, I'm going to throw tariffs on and just using his wordiology. And that is enough to tank a world's economy. What a flawed economic system. Something we talk about all along. So for all of those who are going to contact us later on and talk about the virtues of this system, the virtues of this type of capitalism, the virtues of our Constitution, it has never been the virtues of our economic system. It has never been the virtues of our Constitution. It has been that men and women good enough to not exploit its flaws had been elected to office and had, no matter how bad many of us thought they were, never went as far as putting our country and the world in danger. It wasn't these pieces of flawed documents. It wasn't a flawed economic system, capitalism, that saved us. It was simply good people. And once you get someone that's not good, once you get evil into that institution of leadership, all the flaws of the documents and the economic system just pour out. I tell you what, I hope after we rid ourselves of Donald Trump, that we will seriously consider fixing the flaws not only in the Constitution, but the flaws in an economic system where no one person can do what Donald Trump has done. And that is tank an economy from just the force of one person. A world made up of billions of people and a measly, infantile moron could actually potentially tank the world's economy. Shame on us.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.